So, Christian, round 2 of our Catchmore Media Knockout Cup.
Yeah.
This is going to be an absolute belter.
Yeah, saying this, it's one that you can't call this. 3 real top anglers on a venue that I don't know a lot about in terms of this lake, Furs Lake at the Oaks in Sesse. And it's going to make for a brilliant match, this, I think, today. It's going to be a silvers only match, isn't it? Which, again, I think is a good call, because I feel like, you know, without the carp, I think it makes it a bit of a more of an interesting match personally. Sounds like there's a bit of everything in the lake: ides, skimmers, roach. So tactics wise, I don't know if the lads know exactly what they're going to do. Obviously Brad's the home angler, isn't he? So yeah, and he's turned up to, and sort of feels like he's a bit confident, he knows what he's doing. But
as we found out last time,
yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
As we found out last time, it's not always the way it goes, is it?
No, I had obviously come last on the first round at my home venue, Furswood. Just couldn't catch anything, drew a bad peg on the day, and that can happen. But to be fair, on here, it sounds like all 3 of the pegs are quite even. It's quite a fairish lake from what Gandhi, the local experts, just told us. He did say he fancied Jordan's peg out the 3 though, so maybe that tips, the scales in Jordan's favour today. But we'll find that out as the day unfolds, won't we?
We certainly will, mate. We certainly will. It's going to be an interesting one. Now, these 3 anglers, we both know them really well. We both fish with them a lot.
Yeah.
Look, it's hard to call, isn't it, on ability, because they're all brilliant. Brad, obviously, we know less about because he's younger. He's not fished as much. He's not got the experience. Kieran, very experienced.
Yeah.
Jordan, somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah.
If you had to choose, who are you picking on here?
Well, based on what Gandhi said, I'm going to say that I think Jordan might just do it. I think this is right up his street, silverfish, commercial silverfish fishing, lots of bites, and he's on what, we've been told is the favourable peg. So I'm going to go for Jordan, but obviously I'm going to be rooting for Kieran a little bit, because as we told you in the last round, we're on a bit of a 50-50 split, and obviously I'm out now, so I'm banking on Kieran a little bit. And then, like you say, Brad's the home angler, so I think it's going to be close. I don't think there's going to be a real runaway winner. I think they're all going to get bites, and it's going to be a real tight battle.
Here's my thoughts, mate, for what it's worth. If it's a bagging match, if it's a fish or chuck,
yeah,
Brad won't be beat. He's the fastest, most efficient angler I've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
I think there's something about when you're that age, 18, 19, 20, you just like lightning, aren't you?
Yeah,
and
you're just going for it, aren't you?
Yeah, and he is. He's incredibly smooth, incredibly quick. I don't think he'll be beat. If it's a thinking match, if it's one where you need all your tactical nous and all that sort of thing to nick fish from different lines,
yeah,
Kieran Marsden.
Yeah, tactical master.
Tactical
like
mastermind.
Tactician. Yeah, that's him, Kieran Marsden.
Yeah, like the Pep Guardiola of...
he is, isn't he? He's a bit of the Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Whereas Jordan, the Neil Warnock, I'm going to say, of angling. No, I think Jordan's somewhere in between. Again, and the thing with Jord, like he never ceases to impress me when he gets the bit between his teeth. I.e., if he sniffs a win, he'll win.
He'll win, yeah.
Yeah, if he's miles behind, maybe not. But if he just goes, well, if he's close, he'll just seems to have that thing that the best racehorses have, where they can be hanging behind and they just go.
Yeah, and he'll just get over the line at the end. Yeah.
So one hell of a battle.
Yeah, can't wait for it.
Shall we go and see what the anglers think?
Yeah, let's go and interview
Let's do it.
Brill. Right, so we're on. I'm going to say the peg that everyone fancies, peg 6 on Furs. Spoke to Gandhi, he says this is a flyer, full of big-eyed roach skimmers. Are you going to win it, Jord?
Now, let's just start off here. I am on the only peg here with a massive spinner right in front of my peg, going through my peg. So when I fire my maggots in, they're just all going to wash away. So for me personally, looking at it, I don't fancy it really.
No.
For the win. I'd prefer to draw where key is, out of the way of the aerators, but you never know. Obviously, Gandhi knows a lot more about the venue than me. Yeah. He said it's quite good, so we'll be giving it a go.
Sounds like they're always on as well, so I feel like the fish probably get used to it. They don't mind it too much. And it looks, to be honest, it looks fairly even being, in all honesty, I feel like all 3 pegs are going to be full of fish. So what's the plan? What's the game plan? That's what I want to know.
So I feel like it's going to be very similar to everyone else, to be honest. I'm going to fish a line left and right of this aerator, right in front of me with maggots, just loose feed a few maggots, see how that goes. And then I'm going to put some ground bait this side of the aerator, like a little wet ball, like a little wet thing. We'd hopefully catch some skimmers on that. And then I'm going to loose feed some maggots about 5-6 metres to my left here, just to see if, obviously, if it's absolutely solid, we can catch short. I'll be able to catch them short there. And I'll set up a shallow rig as well, just a token one.
Yeah, in case them either feeding. Like, we have seen a few fish topping about, and it looks like the fish that are topping are decent fish like Ide and maybe big roach. So I imagine there will be some fish to catch shallow as well. But it's not a very deep lake in general, is it? It's only maybe 3.5 foot here, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon that where I'm fishing there is only about 3 foot, 3.5 foot deep, isn't it? I'd say. But yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you, mate. I think we'll have a good, you'll have a good day's fishing regardless. And yeah, see if you can do better than I did on the last round.
Fingers crossed.
Right, so we're here with the main man, Kieran Marsden, and he's drew peg 4. Now, I got knocked out on the last round, so I'm praying for Key to put in a good performance because we've got a little 50-50, share between us. So I'm sort of rooting for Key to win now. So what's the plan? How are you going to do it?
Well, like you say, I'm on peg 4 on, was it, Furze Lake. I've been to the Oaks, but I've never fished this lake before, so I'm not really sure what you need to do on this lake, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a silvers match this today, so obviously I'm just going to stick to a game plan that I thought of before I even come here, what works on a lot of other venues, ground bait and maggots, things like that. I think we're fishing for some Ide, skimmers, tench, just a bit of everything really.
It could be anything that you're going to walk. We don't really know yet what are going to be like the predominant species, to be fair.
When I first walked round this morning, I had my first look at the lake. To be fair, when I come down, I looked at this peg and thought, yeah, middle of the lake, this looks really good, and I sort of drawn this peg. So you've got to be fairly happy in that aspect. But obviously the locals and the venue, the fishery owner and things like that have said that Jordan's peg is the peg to be on. Is it 6 what he's on, peg Jordan? 6, yeah. And then obviously you've got Brad, who's venue expert on here, so it's going to be challenging, but you can only give it your best shot, can't you?
Yeah, you're going to give it a good go, and I don't feel like there's going to be a lot in between the 3 anglers. I don't feel like anyone's going to run away with it from what I can make out. So, you just got to keep going till the end. Hopefully get a few bonus, bigger Ide, maybe a tench, and it might tip the scales. So we'll see how he gets on, and good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Right, so I'm here with the home angler, Bradley Lucas, and he stitched the boys up, to be honest. I'm not right happy with him. He changed the lake 2 days ago. They're supposed to be going on Alders. Key tied loads of shallow rigs up, couldn't wait, got a big bucket of white maggots.
No, he never, let's be fair.
He's had a practice, he's had all sorts. He's come today, different lake, typical. Why have you done that, Bradley?
No, I mentioned it 2 weeks ago that it could go on here, but to be fair, I was going to go on Alders because it's just a great lake. But I felt like for filming purposes and for fairness, it's definitely the right lake. There's a lot of small fish showing on Alders at the minute. They seem to sit in a few pegs, so I didn't want it to be a case of an angler runs away with it. I thought it'd be better on here. Furze Lake, it's a lovely lake. Obviously, I do get the chance to fish it throughout Silvers League on here. Bit more everything, you can catch some skimmers. There's an odd tench. You don't have to just because them I do tend to ball up a bit. I felt like there's, when someone's catching Ide, someone else can catch the roach. Where Jordan sat. So we're on 2, 4, and 6 today, and Jordan sat on 6, which to be fair on paper is probably a bit better than the rest. We've not put 1 in because that dominates, but other than that, they're fairly fair. I've put myself in between 2 and 3. In honestly, it'd be the last one I'd pick, but I don't think it
matters too much.
Yeah. By a small margin. I love 4. I've been on that like 2 or 3 times this year. I like the way it plumbs up long and a lot more fish sit there, but a lot of roach have been feeding recently on here, so I think Jordan will have a great start. Whether they last, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to be really aggressive. Not many lines, feed aggressive, try and draw them Ide in, and then just tick away on them. Really, I think, you're talking about, other than yourself and a few others, is that they're pretty much the best 2 anglers in the country, pretty much, aren't they? So got to stick to what you know and be positive, and hopefully the knowledge can get me off to a good start and keep in the lead. But
yeah. So obviously this lake. Is it an all-out maggot attack, basically?
Sometimes. I mean, you can catch them casters if them roach feed where Jordan is. And then obviously there's quite a lot of skimmers in here.
Yeah.
And you can catch a few on pellets, which is something that I think they've caught on to. But I don't know whether I'm going to waste time in it. I'm not sure. I've seen quite a few fish top, but no skimmers. So I'm not sure. Sure. They tend to show themselves, but it's a lot deeper than I thought. Obviously, this peg never goes in. It's normally 3 and 2. And like straight in front of me, it seems to like drop off a lip to the aerator.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm quite happy now I've plumbed it up. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, well, he's pretending he doesn't know exactly what to do, and I'm pretty sure he does because he's fished the Silvers League on here. He's done really well, so I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing, but he's keeping it under his hat a little bit at the minute. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll get off to a flying start. But all seriousness, good luck, mate.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, see how we get on.
Cheers, Chris.
All in!
So there we are. Chris has called the all in. We're on the home angler, Bradley, to begin with. How long is it going to take for somebody to catch a fish?
I don't think very long. Now, from what I've seen of everyone's plans, I think Brad and Jordan are just going to go on out and out maggot approach. Whereas Kieran, I think he's going to fish with pellets because, you know, obviously he's seen the colour of the water today and he feels like pellets might be a good option to catch a few better skimmers. It's got that real chocolatey tinge of colour to the water and I feel like that could be good. So he might wait a little bit longer for a bite, but ultimately it could be a better fish when he gets one. I feel like Bradley's just going to go straight out on maggots. Again, I could be wrong because he is keeping everything
got
a bit
little
secret.
pot on there, haven't you?
That could be pellets, couldn't it?
Got a longish lash, which is, yeah, maggots on the up there, I think.
Maggots.
So, yeah, obviously.
And then
I'll just try and zoom out a bit so we can get the full breadth of what Brad's up to him for you now.
yeah, Jordan started on maggots as well, so Kieran's currently still feeding, he's filling the line, he's pegging. Good positive angler, love it. That's why he catches big weights, because he doesn't mess about.
Oh, I saw Brad strike straight away there, so that suggests there's some fish on the feed.
Now what's really interesting straight away, what I've noticed from Brad, is he's got a few lines on the go, all with loose feeding maggots, so clearly feels like it's going to be important to move a bite. Just missed another bite there.
Two bites and 2 puts, so.
Kieran's got his big pot on still, he's putting another ball of bait in.
Yeah, and Brad's loose feeding off to his left as well. Off to his right it'll be, actually after my left to his right.
Yeah, he's got a couple of lines on the go, hasn't he? And I think he's going to have a short line as well, from what I can make out.
I'll tell you what's interesting as well, watching how he's feeding. He's spreading the bait and he's going quite a long way past his float as well. So whether he's planning to like pull fish in and he's going to tighten everything up.
Going to tighten everything up, see.
No, he's going to need a few of them, I'm going to say.
Now that fish what he's got there is the sort of fish what you catch on the Shropshire Union Canal by me. And about 250 of them would probably go £1 for. So he's going to need to get some better stamp fish. But currently I think he's winning the match because he's the only person who's caught.
Key's in on the action now. I think he's just putting a pellet on the up by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's going to start on micros and expander, like I say, just to let his other lines settle and see if he can catch a few better fish, because I believe that if you can go in and catch a few skimmers, then, you know, he's going to be catching the right stamp of fish straight away and probably be off to a better start than the anglers fishing with maggots. But, you know, it could be a risky move because he could end up a little bit behind as well.
Yeah. Brad's having a bit of a nightmare with things on the surface. He's had 2 little bits of weed on. He's got another one on now, bless him. Tapping his bait in and then... Nobody likes to see that, pal. Nobody likes to see that. Just shook it off.
Just having a watch, seeing if Jordan Holloway's caught anything. Oh, he's got a little small fish.
Has he?
Looks like a rudd, that to me.
Sometimes just take them bigger eyes, a little bit of time to find the bait, and once they get in, they'll push everything else out of the way, won't they?
Oh, 100%. You know, it's just good to see going in and getting, you know, in all seriousness, going in and getting a bite so fast. It shows, you know, there's going to be plenty of bites to be had. Then better fish will just naturally push the small fish out with regular loose feeding and maggots. I can't help but feel like if that pellet line there, Keys, goes under, it's going to be massive for him because the other 2 anglers aren't doing it.
Yeah.
He's just giving himself, I like that, he's giving himself a chance of, you know, having a real positive line there to catch some better fish, because there is some potential. He's missed a bite on it straight away.
Really? Right, I think we're going to just change angles actually onto Key. So this is something, Chris, it's worth us just talking about. It's something that I imagine, you know, a lot of people want to know about. It is this idea, isn't it, of having something that's unique to you and your approach. Like, there's a lot of times in match fishing where you can't do it, like where, for example, You know, if it's cast to shallow and that's the method, you have to just be better at cast to shallow than everybody else, don't you?
Yeah.
But there are definitely times in fishing when being unique, having your own style, your own little edge, can be a bigger advantage.
Yeah. Well, obviously, me and Kieran, we travel together and we always talk about things in fishing, and we're always looking at you know, little different things what we can try. And straight away when we pulled up, we both noticed how coloured the lake was, which to me screams out pellets. I always feel like that loose feeding maggot approach is better on a clearer lake when the fish are going to see the bait falling through and stuff like that. When it's coloured, pellets is always a good option. So, you know.
Jordan's just hooked something that's pulled a bit more elastic out there, I've noticed.
Yeah, it looked like he might have had a better roach or a big-eyed on the last chuck as well. Just as we were watching Kieran, seeing him sneak the net under something, but this looks like a good fish.
Could be setting a bit of an early pace then if he's had 2 good fish already. Brad's still not had a fish worth catching, I'm going to say.
That looked like a quality fish of Jordan's. Either a big roach or a skimmer, I'm going to say. It didn't look like an eye to me. It looked like, you know, them eyed are typically quite slim fish. That looked like a little chunky fish, so could have even been a big roach. That.
I think Keith's had a little dink on his float on the
Pellets.
pellets, you know.
And I think the nice thing is, I don't think he'll give it too long if it's not working straight away. I think he'll give himself that chance, maybe this first 15-20 minutes of a couple of better skimmers. And you know, I don't think that'll do his maggot line any harm.
I was just going to say that. How important do you think that is to sort of rest a loose feed line and let it build up?
I personally would always start on something else while I build my line up. I always feel like maggots is a bait that gets better the more you feed. So, you know, sometimes pellets, you get a good initial run and then it sort of peters out, and then your maggot line's getting stronger, so they sort of go hand in hand. If you start on pellets, finish later on stronger on maggots, it seems to be a good way of, you know, formulating a good match plan, I'd say, in a, you know, any sort of match at this time of the year.
I think the thing is, with loose feed, you're trying to create competition, aren't you? That's the first and main aim of doing it. So if you can get them fish competing while your rig's not in the way, it's got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Another fish for Jordan, a tiny fish. We'll turn round onto Jordan a minute or two. We'll just see if Kieran can catch us another one on the, or catches one on the pellets. We'll have to a mark.
We kind of expected Jordan to get off to the best start based on what, you know, the locals sort of told us. Peg 6 was a favoured peg. Sort of seems to be the peg where we've seen the most activity from fish, I'd say, as well. So sort of thought he'd get off to a good start, but these better stamped fish are going to play a big part, I think, today in this match, particularly with only being over 4 hours. I feel like someone gets a tench or a couple of bigger bream would make a big difference. You can see straight away there, I know you weren't seeing it on the camera, but Jordan just laid his rig in, he missed the bite straight away, so obviously a lot of fish already in his peg on that maggot line.
We'll just turn the main camera around now onto Jordan then, as he's having the most early action.
Yeah.
Rob Swan, of course, is the other angler who's made it through to round 2 already. That was a good battle at Furswood, Chris.
Yeah, he fished a good match, didn't he? Obviously I was a bit unfortunate on the day, I wasn't really in the running. Very few fish over on my side on the day, but then it was a good little battle between Josh and Rob. Really good. Rob just nicked it, and yeah, it's got himself through, and I'm sure he'll be really looking forward to the next draw now and seeing who he's got to fish against, because you know, any of the ties now in the next round are going to be something really worth watching, aren't they?
Well, the way it works is Rob will be fishing against whoever wins today. So.
Oh really? Is that it? Right? Okay.
And then the other title will be either myself, Dave Roberts, or Matt Godfrey, fishing against Rory Jones or Tyler Bird.
Okay, so yeah, Rob's going to have a tough next angler regardless here with these 3.
And it'll be interesting to see if it is Rob v let's say it's Rob v Brad, for want of a better argument, where them two would take each other. It could be back here at Sesse, actually.
Yeah, there's no rules, is there, on picking the same venue twice?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Unless you want to make one up, pal, we could always make one up.
Maybe that might be a good option, just so that, you know, we're exploring a few different venues.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's do that.
I feel like Rob might look to take someone to Western Pools. I think that's a venue where he does very well, doesn't he?
He does.
Western Pools, that's definitely be a good venue to go and see. You know, how they'd get on their venue that's fishing really well at the minute, Western.
It is, it is.
And it's interesting, you know, Jordan had that little early flurry. Kieran missed the bite straight away. And you know, Brad had a couple of small fish, but after that now, it seems to be quite slow.
Jordan, he played it very cool this morning. Oh yeah, you know, not really bothered, don't know anything about the venue, all this. But let me tell you, he's been on the text to a few people who do really well here. And one of the people he was texting was Ryan Bennett. Now Ryan, he's won I think he's won the last 2 years Winter League here, certainly won this year's Winter League. And Ryan told Jordan, the angler who lays the rig in the most will win.
Right, okay, so being busy is obviously a, you know, important part of it. Nice light rig falling through the water all the time. It's interesting.
Oh, that's a nice bite of a better fish. You can tell, can't you, when the better fish bites. And that pink hydro doing the job lovely.
Yeah, it's coming out nice, isn't it? I always like it this time of the year. Once the air temperature's a little bit warmer and your hollow elastics are working properly, I always favour just using a hollow elastic. I just think, I personally feel like you bump less fish on a slightly heavier elastic, which sets the hook well. Obviously, middle of winter, your solid elastics tend to work better when the air temperatures are really cold. You sort of stiffen up the hollow elastics, but now it's a lovely sunny day today. Them hollow elastics work nice and soft, and I think that's perfect for what he's trying to do today.
It's a lovely, lovely sunny day. The first sort of breath of spring these last couple of weeks, haven't we? It's been nice.
Oh, it's been lovely, hasn't it? We've had a long winter this year, hasn't we? We've really had some tough fishing. It's nice now for the sun to be out and the fish to be on the feed. It's brilliant. It's about time. Just looking round. Brad's not had any more, I don't think, since we've turned round. Kieran had a couple of indications straight away, and then no more. So
what's Jordan doing short here? Is he throwing on a little sneaky line out of the hand?
Yeah, I think he's just feeding that line just in case. You know, if the fish want to come close, he'll be able to catch a little bit faster. If it's going to be more of a roach, smaller fish match, I think he wants to try and catch him there. But I think them better fish, skimmers and hide, probably going to be on that longer line. He's not going too far. He's fishing, I'd say, about 12 metres, which I think's a nice distance. You can ship back nice and fast, and it's nice and efficient at that distance. He's got off to a really good start here. I'm interested to see what fish they are, whether they're small-eyed or sort of little skimmers. I can't really tell. I don't know if you can, Tom.
I think they're eyed, but I'm not certain.
Yeah.
So yeah, early signs are Jordan taking, I want to say, quite a convincing lead. I mean, he's probably got £2 already, hasn't he? I would have thought.
Yeah, he will do. He'll have a couple of pound already, and the other lads at the minute, they're not catching. But like I say, Kieran's gone on quite a positive line here to start with on pellets, but you know, once he drops in on maggots, if this doesn't work, I'm sure it won't take him long to get into the groove on that and start to claw a little bit back.
So what we'll do, we'll sign off for now. We'll bring another update in 20 minutes or so and see how things are progressing. Yeah, so there we are. Kieran's actually just nailed one now on the pellet. He was turning back round, but will it count, Christian?
Kieran believes it's a skimmer, and if it is a skimmer, I'm going to say it's a real quality skimmer. He thinks it's a skimmer. Could be an
That's
F1.
an F1, that, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think that's an F1.
Oh dear. He's got the softest elastic I've ever seen. He was next to me at Furswood a couple of weeks ago. He used that elastic, and every fish that he hooked ran through my line. It's a very... What have you... Big eyed? On pellets?
Hide on pellets.
Now this is what Kieran Marsden does. He sorts out the better fish and he puts in a great performance, just like what we're seeing already.
So, what's that?
See, this is the key. Never rush anything, even if you think it's an F1. Take your time.
He's letting the other lads know that he's just had a great fish.
What an angler, what a guy.
You knew that pellet line was going to work today, didn't you, Kieran?
I knew I was going to get an eye that should on pellet. I don't think I've ever caught an eye on pellet.
That didn't half fight as well. That was.
I was convinced it was a non-count.
Yeah, that looked like. The only other thing is on this lake as well, and what I was thinking it could have potentially been is a tench. We're getting told there is a very realistic choice of a chance of a tench.
No, that elastic is light, isn't it? From Lucas.
Yeah, Bradley thinks it's still January and he's got a single 4 on. He's got his bobble hat on as well. But he's got a fish, so that doesn't matter. They only count if they go in the net. No, that's no carp. You got single 4 on, Bradley. It's pulling back, whatever it is.
Isn't it just?
But so did that last.
A good fish there for Brad.
It's an hide.
Worms! Did you hear that? Did he just say I'm fishing worms?
He won't be on worms, surely not. Brad, do yourself a favour and put some elastic on that can actually get the fish in. That was pathetic, that elastic what Bradley's using there. I don't know if you've seen that. He just had to stand up to net and hide.
Got a bit of droop coming out the end as well, which not a problem you want at his age, is it, pal?
No, quite embarrassing for him really, that what I've just seen. But you know, the fishes ended up in the landing net, and it was a quality fish. So straight away, even though Jordan got off to an early lead with a few better fish, a few small fish, now a few better fish starting to come out, and a couple of them, and you know, you're back in the race. He doesn't know why it fighted like that on single 3s. He just doesn't know why. What?
It's a family show, guys. It's a family show.
That'll be carp. A large shoulder ghost carp are on Kieran Marsden's long pole line at the minute. I tell you what, Tom, this last sort of 20 minutes or so, just as the match is starting, that sun feels really warm, doesn't it?
It's lovely.
Really warming up today. I thought it was going to be a lot colder than this today. It ended up being a nice day. I think a good chance of them big eyed, like what we've just seen coming shallow today, from what I can see there. But yeah.
Could be a shallow fest later, couldn't it?
I think so. I think this is typical of what the fishing's been like at the minute. Obviously we've had a lot of sort of cold nights, sort of overnight frost, or going down to 1 or 2 degrees. So you get this sort of slow early start, and then nice and sunny during the day. It warms the water through nice and quick, and I'm sure the fishing will be, you know, by the end of the day it'll be pretty fast and furious.
Yeah.
See, I can see everyone.
He's claiming it was only £1 and a bit, the line, Kieran. I think it looked more like 3 to me.
It looked like it looked bigger than £1 and a bit. This is why he generally admits to a lot less than what he weighs in. interesting. It's not, like I say, this is probably to be expected, this, where it's that little bit, like I say, with the colder nights, that little bit of a slower start. Just while you wait for the lake to sort of warm through a little bit. Kieran's sitting there very confident now. He's had that big hide.
Look at that man Holloway to the right there, sneaking him in.
See, this is a fish that Bradley's got here that's much more suited to the elastic what he's using.
You're not a fan of the single 4, are you, Paul?
Miles too light, miles too light. He'll learn though, he's only a young pup.
Oh, that's a lovely fish for Kieran, that.
Sorry.
Oh.
I'm laughing there because when he hooked that fish, it come jumping, flying out the water, and he told us he was going to get a nice bream, didn't he? And he's delivered what he said he would. This is what we said about this pellet, this pellet line of Kieran's. If he did get off to a good start with some better fish, puts a few quality fish in the net while he's loose feeding his maggots, it's building that line up for when he goes in on it, and he's getting a good start. And I think now he's only got 2 fish, he's got the least number of fish, but I think he's in the lead.
It's close, isn't it? He's probably got 2 for £4, I think.
I think he's got at least 3, hasn't he? So, you know, I think he is in the lead now.
It's close. Jordan's catching well, quietly. More in terms of numbers.
Nice to see, you know, a little bit of a differing tactics as well. You know, everyone's not fishing the same way. They've got their own plan. Yeah, that's great to see that.
Right, Chris, we're around about an hour in now, is it?
Just over an hour in, yeah.
Just over an hour, and we think we're focusing on the leader at the moment.
I'm going to say I think he's definitely the leader, Kieran. I'm going to say he's got 6.5, 7 pounds, 6.5 pound, I reckon. Obviously, he's had them 2 big skimmers. He's had a big hide, but I don't think Jordan's a mile behind. I want to say Jordan's 5 or 6 pound. He's got a reasonable, looks like a little hide he's got there now. So it's interesting. I feel like if Kieran gets another run of them better skimmers, again he'll pull well ahead. I don't think Jordan's going to catch many of them better skimmers doing what he's doing at the minute, but he's feeding the net all the time, isn't he? Which the other anglers aren't catching as many fish.
Yeah, I think it could be closer than we think.
There you go, Kieran into a fish now.
Yeah, it's not a huge fish, that one though, is it? But as you say, it's what's turning into quite a, I wouldn't say a tough day, but certainly a bit more challenging than people expected. He's feeding the net all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely gone with the right approach there on pellets, I think. Bait-wise, it seems to be the right bait.
Yeah.
I do think that's a decent fish.
I think you're right, mate, actually.
think
I'm eating my words a bit now.
That'll be a skimmer, that.
Yeah, it's not a small fish, is it?
Another nice skimmer. He's getting a lot of indications on that line as well, and interestingly, he's already had a drop on his maggot line just to see, and he's not getting anywhere near as many signs on his maggot line, which is interesting. It probably tells you that the fish are coming to pellets.
Yes.
Not like a decent skimmer, maybe something like just under a pound, 12 ounce-ish, or could have even been another hide. I know he has had a couple of hide already on pellets, which is unusual, but they obviously are eating them.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? It's interesting just talking with Gandhi, who obviously knows this place probably better than anybody, about the colour of the water and weather. It's just the fact that this water's coloured up that's meant it's gone from being a loose feed type match to one where, you know, we both sort of said when we saw the colour worms, didn't we?
Yeah.
Kieran's obviously gone with pellets. It's changed the dynamic, I think, from what everybody's now saying.
Yeah, it feels like a day where you need to put a little bit more bait in and fish like that, bit of ground bait, some fish meal. I think if the lads had worms, I think that would be a good option. But, you know, they've not got worms, so I think pellets is going to be your next best bet. Jordan's getting a little run now, slightly better fish. That looks like a big roach, is it?
The thing is, on fish count, if it was on fish count, Jordan's going to have 30 plus fish now, I would have thought.
Yeah. Kieran's probably only got a dozen, but then he's got 3 really quality fish, hasn't he? So
Yeah. As you say, Kieran's definitely in front, I think. Jordan, I think, is closer than we think.
Yeah, so if Kieran's got £7, Jordan's probably got 6, hasn't he? It's
5, yeah, 5
Yeah,
or 6,
yeah.
yeah, I'd say. Brad, bless him, he's suffering what you suffered last time, I want to say, the curse of the home venue.
curse of the home venue at the minute, which is unbelievable, really, how that it's gone like that. But it's still early days, only an hour in. You know, when only sort of £6-7 winning the match, you can easily catch back up if you start catching a few of them better fish, which are obviously in this lake because we've already seen a few of them get caught. So, you know, you'd expect a few more of them to show later in the day, and there you go. There's Kieran into another fish on pellets.
Yeah.
So this is coming, you know, turn out to
Well,
be
I've
a real
just
good
filmed
battle.
him having 2 well, we've been filming 3.5 minutes up to now, so he's had 2 good fish in that time.
Yeah.
He could be pulling ahead now, couldn't he, I think?
I think so. Again, it's not
It's not a massive fish, is it?
but it's a stamp fish. She's had 2 stamp fish in 2 put-ins, as fast as anyone else has caught them on the maggot lines. And in my head, he's in the best position now because he's got the pellet line going, he's got his maggot line, he's fed, he's got his short line, he's fed if he needs them. I think he'll just keep picking them off on pellets for as long as he feels like he's in the lead.
It just goes to show, we joked, didn't we, this morning, we said about youth and experience and how sometimes things aren't always what they seem on any day with fishing. We never know, do we? We think we do sometimes, but it never fails to catch us out and amaze us, does it?
This is why you just got to stay on your toes really with it, and don't just go, you know, every time you go to a lake, if you're fishing it all the time, don't just keep going with the same approach. Read the conditions, that colour of the water definitely has changed the fishing, and you know, you've got to react to them changes in fishing, and that's why anglers like Kieran, you know, this is what they do best, and that's why they stay, you know, up there in the placings all the time and doing well.
100%. Tackle wise, he'll know what he's using. What will it be on there with the pellets?
That'll be probably a solid tip flexi dink RW, probably in that depth 4x12, little strung bulk. Just getting a little liner there now from what I can tell. Little strung bulk, nice big shot to register the bites, short hook length, probably 0.10 and a 16. I know he uses the Guru, the Matrix prototype. I want to say they're called like an X2 or something. Quite a light wire up, quite a wide gate, good for pellets. And then he's got orange slick elastic, which is, I think it's a 4 to 6, nice and soft for fishing for silverfish. Again, with the shallow water, you don't want to fish too heavy in elastic, but you don't want to fish too fine either now, like what we were saying before. I feel like that slightly more positive elastic is good. It just seems to be working well.
And Brad's into a fish.
Yeah, there's Brad. That seems to be a reasonable fish.
And Jordan's netting one as well. So if you look at that one that Jordan's got there, that's what? It's got to be 4 or 5 ounces. It's big, look. It's a lot bigger than his hands look.
Yeah. Looks
He
like
ain't
a
far
quality
behind,
roach
mate.
as well, which is what we were told about that peg. Is it generally does hold some good stamp roach, and it sort of proved that.
And what I think we need to do now is probably put the lens on, have a walk around and just maybe get behind the anglers and have a chat with them and just see how they think it's going.
Yeah, and see exactly what they're doing and how they're getting on a bit closer up, because obviously we think we know roughly what weight they've got from where we're stood over here watching, but you know, Jordan might tell us different. We might go around, he might say he's got, you know, 7 or 8 pound himself, and he might actually be, you know, up there and winning the match, because like I say, he's definitely leading on fish count, and he has had some reasonable roach, so you know, it might be surprising.
What do you think, before we do that, what do you think is going to happen today? I mean, it's springtime, the sun's out. It feels to me like it could be one of them days where things just get better and better, the fishing.
Yeah, I think so, and I think all 3 anglers have fed a short line. And I imagine they'd have fed that short line that little bit heavier. And it feels like a day where that could come really strong later in the day. So, and I feel like from when we looked at the, you know, the information about the lake, some of them bigger skimmers can often feed a little bit shorter. So, we'll see how we get on.
Interesting to see, won't it?
Yeah, let's get round and see exactly what they're doing, Tom. Right, so we're about an hour and 15 minutes into the match. I'm behind Jordan. and he's been lying to us. He said he was catching little roach, and we're looking and we could see him catching, and we thought they were small roach. I've just stood behind him now and he's just had a great hide. And I feel like that's potentially what he has been catching, so we might have a little bit more than we think.
I haven't.
What do you think you've got, Jord?
I reckon I've got 5-6 pounds. I've just well, I started off catching them roach, like some nice roach and little tiny roach, and then now I'm just catching like little 2 to 4 ounce eyes. To be honest, it's going all right now. Like it's literally about every chuck at the minute, like that kind of size.
Oh, that's a big roach.
Yeah, that's like the roach earlier.
Yeah.
And then just some eyes in between.
Nice fishing, mate. I think you're doing well.
I think I'm a little bit behind Kieran fishing pellets. I do wish I had an expander to put on the hook. I literally did some micros up as well.
What's that Bradley's got? He's got a great big fish over there.
Big eyed or a chub in it.
Big eyed. So,
I haven't caught any of them.
I'm sure you'll get a few though, because you know there has been a few decent fish coming out. Kieran's in again on pellets over there. And it's starting to hot up a little bit now. It's getting to be a good match. But I think you're doing well doing what you're doing. I think if you keep dropping a fish in the net, you're not going to be a million miles off.
Can't see, you know, when I feed my bait. I can't actually.
Yeah, it just ripples the water a little bit. It is. That's one thing they did say. Even though this is a good peg, it's very difficult to see you float, and it's definitely been the case.
Like I could probably have carried on catching at 30 metres, but it's so hard to see the float. I've had to go out there, so it's in a bit of a dark water, just so I can see my float, to be honest.
And you can read your float a little bit better.
Don't feel like we're fishing for like £40 either, so you can fish a bit longer and catch £25, can't you?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
But yeah, just going to keep on this, still throwing some maggots short to my left.
Yeah, I think that could come good later on. It'd be interesting to see if, you know, the fish will come a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
I know it is quite a shallow lake, but it's getting to that time of year where fish are going to be happy to come a little bit shorter, and there's plenty of colour in the water, so I'm sure the fish will still feel confident to feed short later on.
Yeah, we'll give it a go later on.
Yeah, so keep it going anyway, Jord.
Cheers, mate.
I thought you only had sort of £6, but I reckon he might be more like £8 or £9 here, based on the stamp of the fish what I've just seen him catch. So
hey, go Wade.
He's going about his business well here, and I think he's doing okay. So we're going to go around and see Kieran. We've just seen him catch a couple more fish on pellets and see where he's up to. Come round to Kieran, and he's had a bit of a tactical switch. His pellet line's gone a little bit funny. He's getting a few funny indications, so he's had a go on his short line. And I've just seen him catch 4 decent eyed. Now, if he can catch it that distance, then obviously he's going to be catching, you know, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and a bit more efficient. So I feel like he's still in the lead, but it's very close now, I think, between all the anglers. Brad's had a good little run shallow, catching some big eyed. Jordan's caught a couple of better eyed shallow, and he's pretty much had, you know, a bite of chuck most of the day off smaller fish. But then, you know, these are decent fish what Kieran's catching short. So at the minute, I don't think I can call this. I feel like it's very close. But yeah, how do you feel like it's going? What do you feel like you're gonna keep doing this for a while, do you think?
Just until it fizzles out, that's what I've been doing. So I've got 3 lines on the go. I've got one with ground bait and maggot short here, what I'm fishing now. So I've got another on the good fish that I'm catching on this line as well. It's like one a chuck at the minute.
Yeah.
So I'm catching on this short line. Then I've got the same line in front of me with ground bait and maggots again, and one for pellets. And I started on pellets and I had a really good run. I had a big skimmer, big eyed, got me off to a good start. But I'm literally, all I'm doing is pretty basic stuff, just switching through my lines, fishing them out till they go a bit funny on me, then topping them up and moving on. And that's where I'm at the minute. But look, this is another cracking hide that I'm catching.
Just feels to me like this last 20 minutes, the lake's just come alive.
Yeah, it's sort of switched on a little bit. Now they're the stamp that you want on a shot. Look at him, he's a beauty. I think they're the new fish they put in. He's like £1.50, him, isn't he?
That's a belting fish.
Yeah, lovely.
And it's been a great day fishing for everyone at the minute. You can see Jordan, he's straight on his short line. You can see that that's going to be a good option.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, obviously it's that time of year now where we're coming just out of the winter, starting to warm up a little bit. And I just feel like the fish do want to come short. They're sat on them shelves in a bit shallower water, out the deep water.
Yeah, and I think when you've got this colour in the water, the fish are going to be confident in coming
That's
close.
it, yeah.
You don't need to go a million miles out. And like, I think what you're doing now is giving you a good chance. Your 2 lines are nice and positive. And yeah, you're catching some decent fish. Look at this. Beautiful.
It's only a small hide, but at least I'm getting bites now. I just want to chuck bites wise.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to keep going at this, and hopefully I can try and keep my nose in front. I honestly don't know what I've got because I've caught a bit of everything, and to be fair, I don't really fish for silvers that much, so it's hard to judge what weight I've got really.
You've had a bit of a mixed bag as well. You've had a bit of all sorts,
Yeah,
so
a bit
it's
of
always hard
everything.
to work it out. But I personally think, I think you've got at least 5 or 6 fish over £1.
Yeah.
So you must have £10 plus. And I think over £10 will be leading this match. So I think you are winning at the minute. So
Yeah, I think I've just probably got my nose in front, especially dropping on that short line now. I think it was really tight before I dropped on this. And then I dropped on that and had a nice little run now. So I think I've just got my nose back in front a little bit.
yeah,
But it's all to play for still for all 3 of us. Everyone's catching. I've seen Brad, he's sort of got a few fish put together now, better stamp. So yeah, it's turning out to be an interesting match.
yeah. I feel like he's settled now. I feel like early it took a while for the fish to come on Brad's line. He was skipping about a little bit. Now he's sort of settled in what he's doing, fishing for the better hide shallow. He's been a little bit more patient. He's probably not had as many fish as you pair have in this last 20 minutes, half an hour, but everything I've seen him catch has been a stamp fish.
Yeah, proper fish. Got
So
another one now.
Yeah.
So he's starting to put a few together. But like I say, if he gets 10 of them, it puts him in the lead.
Oh, he's lost that one. I think that could have been a foul looker, but it's a good sign that there's some proper fish in his swim.
I really enjoy this type of fishing though. I don't do enough of it, but you know, like skipping about, catching different species. You don't know when it goes under, you don't know what you're going to catch next.
Yeah, it's good. I wish I was fishing, to be honest. I'd think I'd enjoy this. Looks good fishing.
Yeah, it is. I'm enjoying it because, like I say, you don't know what that float goes under now. I don't know what it's going to be next. We haven't had any. Surprisingly, we've not had any. There's maybe a few carp in this lake. We've not had any carp yet, have we, or anything like that between us all. I don't think we've had one.
No.
Which is a good sign, really, because it's a silvers only match.
Yeah, they're keeping themselves out the way, aren't they, at the minute?
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
But you know what it's like that last hour. They could come on a little bit.
I'm sure someone will have 1 or 2.
I've fished plenty of silverfish matches in the past where it's just been a carp chuck late on.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
But yeah, this is good now, this short line. I'm just going to keep doing this now until it fizzles out, then top it up and move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going well for me now. The quality IDs when
Yeah,
you
they're
get
nice
them as well,
stamp
haven't they?
then.
They've not got a mark on them.
That might even be a roach, that one.
Yeah, it is,
It's a
isn't it? Big roach,
that,
yeah.
So yeah.
Some quality fishing here, isn't there?
Right, so I think Kieran Marsden at the minute, just about leading, but it's really getting close now and it's becoming a real good match, exactly how we hoped it'd be. All 3 anglers are catching, and yeah, I can't call it. So we're gonna go round to Brad, who I think's, you know, things looking a little bit more positive for Brad now after a bit of a slow start, and we'll see how he feels like it's going. Right, so we'll come round to Brad on peg 2, and you've had a little better spell now, haven't you? You've had a few more hide.
Yeah, a little bit. It's got better.
You've had a couple of real big ones. You said you've had a massive hide. How big was that?
Yeah, I had one probably £2.5, £2 at least. So great fish, but I have got a bit of a hope that I will catch a few more as well. They tend to sit around that aerator, but normally the other side. But because I'm the only one to that aerator, I'm hoping I can catch them late on.
Yeah, you're gonna get that late spell of them bigger fish. Now I don't think it. You know, if you did get a good run shallow, then bigger fish, I don't think it'd take you long to catch up because it's not. You know, I don't think you'll be as far behind as you think because you are putting fish in the net, and you've had them couple of bonus fish. So, what do you think you've got? Have you got £10?
No, definitely not got £10. Definitely not. So I've got £7.
Yes, £7 or £8. Again, I feel like 13's probably winning.
Yeah, so you're not far behind. You're not going to be, you know, 8 fish behind really.
Yeah.
You know, they're the fish you want, sort of thing.
Got another one now. And even though we're, you know, we're having a joke about and stuff, I do feel like you're still in with a good chance of catching up if you do get a couple of them better fish. But
that's the reason why I took one out really, because I know how good it can be late on. Because obviously we fish. Yeah, I won't do that. we fish 5.5 hour matches normally.
Yeah.
And that last half hour, it's really good on one. They sit to the aerator, but I don't think we're fishing long enough to sort of make it that big of a difference. Like where I am fishing to it.
Yeah, you're not sure whether you're going to have time for the fish
Yeah,
to turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You never know. You've had a couple already. I feel like you will get a few more of them big-eyed here. Fishing the way you're fishing, I feel like.
Loads of rubbish as well.
You're fishing off the bottom at the minute.
No, that's on the bottom.
You're fishing on the deck.
Yeah. Don't really tend to catch off bottom on here. Never really do.
Yeah, because we're being quite shallow.
So coloured, yeah, and shallow.
But yeah, so.
Them bigger fish normally sit on the bottom, but we don't know. We'll keep ticking over. I will push out a bit more. So many small fish, but yeah, I will push out in time. But the thing is, if you push out too early, you've got nowhere else to go. So we'll keep plodding along. Hopefully, we can try and catch them up.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I think. Again, I feel like that Kieran and Jordan have slowed down a little bit now as well. I feel like this is. Since we've moved round, this is the slowest spell I've seen for both of them. So at the minute, you're putting fish most puts in the net.
Yeah.
So you will be slowly,
slowly, gradually, hopefully, and
getting closer into the mix. And
then
there's still loads of time left. I think we're still
one run,
only just halfway through now. So
can't believe how small the stamper's been. Really.
It's a nice roach spot.
It's a roach, yeah. Ooh, it's come off in the net. Lovely fish,
Lovely fish then. This lake.
Folded maggot
definitely
again.
one that I want to come and have another go on.
Oh, it's mint.
Got a bit of everything in it. It's definitely a good choice.
Was
we
it?
were obviously
I want stitching you up.
Winding you up about changing a late last minute. I think it was a wise choice because it's been a great match. So, seeing Jordan has just had another decent hide there now.
Yeah. That's a lovely one. Makes a really interesting match. You can fish pellets like Kieran has. I think definitely a great. I mean, it's a bold decision, but it's a great decision. I was expecting to go in and just catch a really good run of hide really early. And I thought pellets were just far too slow, but as it turned out, it's fished really, really slow. Whether them cold mornings, now it's getting warm again, we're getting bites, but he definitely took the right decision and it's paid off for him. And whether he can keep that lead or not, you don't know. But his peg's a little bit shallower, but to be honest, I don't think that's making any bit of a difference. It's really deep to my right, in fact, deepest part of the lake probably. I never really knew it was that deep, but got well over 5 foot, probably 5 foot, and just not had a bite in it. So. And all the skimmers seem to sit in the shallow water as well. So it's definitely fair. I think Kieran's just got the right tactic and Jordan's catching the roach that tend to live in the area.
Yeah.
So my only option is to catch them hide. Whether they're going to be big enough and come quick enough, you don't know, but turn into a great match.
There's another ride now. I think you're going to get a good run of them better fish. Feels that way to me.
Yeah.
You're catching nice and steady now.
Definitely gone better now. Whether it stays and whether the stamp increases, I think this is a better one.
Yeah, it does look like a slightly better fish.
No, not really. But it's mental, like I was saying to you earlier. Normally, your average are well over 2 to a pound, well over, probably 10, 12 ounce. Really old fish, nice fish, but really small today. But I think it's same for everyone, like you said. So
I think they'll add up them fish though. I still think they're 6 ounce. A lot of them fish.
Yeah.
So,
never know. I'm not clicking.
You might have £10. You might have a little bit more than you think. So.
Potentially, you never know, do you? We're all bad as each other, but I'm not clicking. I'm letting you decide who's winning. So
yeah, but it's been quite difficult for me and Tom. We're trying to sort of keep up with what weights people have got, and they're catching roach, they're catching small fish, hide, and odd better skimmer and stuff like that. It's hard to really get a true picture of what is winning.
And it's hard to know what you're doing is the right thing, do you? But I'm confident in just loose feeding maggots and trying to catch them hide, but. Like I said, with them roach feed and them hide don't, which I thought it was going to be early, and I really was worrying, but I think as the day warms up, I think them hide will feed. So hopefully I can keep catching them. The stamp increases, but...
Sound nice one, mate. Well, we'll leave it there for now. We'll probably have a little catch up in a bit and see where we're getting, how it's getting on, but that's the 3 anglers. We're going to see them now. And yeah, it's a good little match. It's quite tight still. Yeah, I can't call it.
Well, we just had a short break for lunch, Christian. And as we left, it looked to me like Jordan and Kieran had quietened off.
Yeah.
And Brad was on a real good run of hide. And we both nibbled on our burger and chips and said that we thought Brad were going to come back and overtake the other two. Since then, things have changed.
Yeah, it seemed like what had happened is, because Kieran and Jordan had caught well at the start, and they'd caught some hide on the maggot lines and stuff like that, they'd sort of caught the fish, what were in the pegs, they'd sort of caught them, and because Brad had a slow start, it felt like there was still quite a few hide in front of him, and he was, if anything, he was catching fish steady, and the other two lads were struggling to get a bite altogether. And Key made the decision then to sit on his pellet line, and he probably sat on it for sort of 10 or 15 minutes before we left without a fish, so I was worried it could be sort of fading away for Kieran. When we come back though, we found out that he's had 2 or 3 big bonus fish again on pellets. I think he's had a tench, which may or may not be a £1.5 or £4 apparently, so we don't know what that's going to weigh. Don't know how big it is. I think he's had another big hide. I think Jordan's had one of the real big hide, £2 plus hide. And then Brad's still been steady on the hide without catching any real bonus fish. So I really don't know who's winning, but if I'd have to guess, I'd say Kieran's still maybe just ahead. I think Jordan's probably still second, but not by much. And then I think Brad's probably very close to the other two. I think it's very, very close now. I think 20, maybe £23 might be winning, and I reckon 19 or £20 will be last at the minute.
I think you're right. I think it's mega, mega tight, mate. It's interesting as well, we're just talking about the different styles of angling on display. Now Brad, as we can see here, is fishing with a lovely long lash. He's got light elastic, and I think it's a solid elastic he's got in there. And he's playing the fish really sort of gently, which suggests probably small hooks, light lines, etc.
Yeah.
Jordan, on the other hand, he's got his hydro elastic on. I think it's pink hydro he's fishing on that longest line, and 9 hollow on his other one.
Yeah.
He's obviously fishing shorter to start with, and everything's being swung of, I'd say less than 6 ounces. He's netting anything bigger, but
yeah,
it's a real contrast of approaches, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think Jordan's playing the efficiency, trying to get on with things, trying to do everything as fast as possible, to try and catch as quickly as possible, trying to play that sort of game, whereas Brad's just probably playing the percentages of, he'll get more bites on the lighter rig, or Kieran Marsden's into a pellet fish there.
So we'll just turn this main camera onto Kieran now, so I've had a little while on
So, yeah, as I was saying,
on Brad.
Brad's, fishing light, just trying to get bites and just trying to keep shipping a fish back. And it'd be interesting to see what ends up coming out on top, but I think if Kieran can get a few more this last little spell on pellets, I think that'll see him over the line, because they have been much better fish on that pellet line today.
Certainly sounds that way. I mean, that's a small fish, but he's had some good stamp skimmers.
Know, Thomas, that looks like
it's 8-10 ounce.
An 8-10 ounce skimmer to me. That's, it's a good fish, that. Especially as, it seems to have slowed down this last little spell, which is typical hide fishing.
I'm just looking around. We've just seen Jordan put one in the net, and Jordan's into another one. So,
well, I don't know if you noticed it, about 5 minutes ago. He was sat there struggling. He got up off his box and he went for another pole section.
I did, yeah.
Got a 16-metre section of his cadence. Is it the CP2000 that Jordan uses? Which he's put that in and gone that little bit further past. And it looks like he's got a decent skimmer himself there.
Yeah.
Is that a skimmer? It looks like a skimmer.
It's a chunky fish, whatever it is, isn't it?
I know it might be an hide. But yeah, that could be a good little tactical change. Just go that little bit further now, just to eke out them few extra fish before the end of the match.
How long have we got left? Not be long.
We've got
half an hour or so.
Let's have a look. So it's, there's 33 minutes left. I think if Kieran can get a couple more bonus fish on that pellet line, that'll see him through. If not, and Jordan keeps catching these few more, I think he'll be your man going through.
So you're saying Brad's all but out of it?
I could be wrong. I feel like Brad's just going to be that little bit short in terms of he just started off that little bit too slow and just fell a little bit too far behind. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
If we saw him that had that big hide earlier, I mean, that was a proper. I mean, if you think a £2 hide today, it's worth 4 fish, really, isn't it? The standard stamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they averaging these fish? 8 ounce max?
Yeah, I'd say the hide that we've seen have been sort of anything from 4 to 8 ounce mainly, and then you've got that odd better fish, some really big hide. But I think like your general bonus hide seems to be the fish of sort of about a pound, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And then like we've had them skimmers. Like I don't think Kieran's had as many skimmers that are as big as the first two what he's had at the start, but he's had quite a few of them. What we've just seen him catch there, them, 8-10 ounce ones, which again slightly bigger than the hide. Jordan's in again there, another small fish.
We'll finish off by just turning around to Jordan. I'll just try and get the camera a bit closer to the water here. Let's have a look.
Well, I say a small fish, and
He doesn't net small fish, does he?
He couldn't swing that on pink hydro then, so it's gonna be an interesting way in. I was just saying, I'm looking forward to seeing the nets of fish because I think they're all going to be slightly different, and there's a real mix of fish. I'm interested to see how big Key's tench is. He said it was only £1.5 pounds. Jordan said it was £4. I wouldn't put it past that he even hasn't caught a tench.
No,
and they're just lying to us.
There were definitely
honest.
some jealousy going off that we were going to the cafe and they weren't.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if they was lying to us. That's what they've been doing the rest of the day.
So no prizes for honesty today, Paul.
But yeah, it's been a good match this. I thought it would be though. When I seen this tie come out, these three against each other, I knew it was going to be a good match. Didn't think anyone had really run away with it. I knew it was going to be tight. They're all at the top of the game, aren't they?
I was just going to say, mate, I know we've been taking the piss out of each other all day and that's what this is all about, but, we were talking the other day, weren't we, about picking a commercial team. You have to choose anglers from any angler in the UK to be in a team of 10 commercial anglers in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm going to say these three would be on the list, wouldn't they?
I think they would. You only have to look at, the results from last year, like Brad had, Kieran, right at the top of the game. Jordan's been doing it for quite a few years, and equally on, like Silfish, natural venues. Jordan's one of the very top anglers, I think, in the country at that as well.
Mm-hmm. You just don't want him anywhere near you on fish, do you?
No.
He's just incredible.
No.
Incredible talent. So there we are. That's a little update with half an hour to go. We'll come back to you just before the end. But first, we'll just watch Jordan catch one more.
I feel like he's going to get that little run here on this longer line. It's interesting how straight away you put that section on, he was into fish. Just shows how they can just back off later in the day. Sometimes it gets stronger, but generally for hide it gets a bit harder. And
I'll tell you what else is interesting. We just saw him swearing at the ducks there. But I remember him saying that the ducks actually disappeared on him about an hour ago, and he couldn't get a bite when they weren't there. So seems like they like them after all.
Yeah. 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 Gandhi's just saying to us that on some of the other lakes, that can make a big difference. Having the ducks in your peg can, especially for the F1s, can keep them in your swim for whatever reason. So I just think sometimes the fish can believe if the ducks are there feeding that it's safe bait and
that's a
it's
nice
not
fish.
dangerous. Oh, that's a good fish.
Oh.
Oh.
That could have been foul up, was it, you think?
Yeah, it took it on the drop, didn't it? Or, we might have laid it over it on the drop. Brad's in again. It's going to be close. I still wouldn't rule Brad completely out. I feel like he could be up there. I'm only going off the fact that he had such a slow start that I feel like he's still behind, but he has caught really steady this last little spell.
Well,
that's a good hide he's got.
Let's be, we're both competitive men. We're both like a little bet, so go on, let's have a quid. So I'm going to ask you first, your winning angler and the weight we're going to have, and then I'll ask Gandhi the same, and then I'll chip in.
Right, I'm going to go with my mate Kieran.
So Kieran Marsden's going to win.
The tench man, and he's going to have £28.
£28 dead. Gandhi, what are you saying? And what weight? So Jordan's saying he thinks that, so Andy's saying Jordan's going to win with £27, and that's Jordan with the fish on now. I'm going to agree. I think Jordan's going to win. But I'm going to say £26. Yeah, £26 Jordan.
Yeah.
So that's our 3 guesses. Let's see what happens. We'll come back just before the all out. Right, Chris. It's the final countdown as the song goes.
There is about 90 seconds of the match left, I reckon.
I'm watching Brad play a big wallowing hide on the surface, but I'm not moving the camera now because we're set on Jordan. Who's won this? We honestly don't know, do we?
It could have been any of them, I think. I think it's mega.
They've all got one on, actually.
All 3 of them have got a fish on. This will probably be everyone's last fish. Brilliant days fishing for all 3 of them, and I can't call it.
No, I honestly wouldn't want to.
Look at the size of that, what Brad's just had.
That's a £1 plus, isn't it?
It's a big hide.
And Kieran's is a good one as well.
Yeah, I think it could literally be any of them that's won this. So it's been a brilliant match, brilliant choice of venue from Brad. I think it's made for a perfect little battle between the 3 of them. Real close. I don't feel like any one of the pegs has massively stood out. I feel like it's been quite fair, so it's been perfect for what we wanted today for this, and everyone's had a good day's fishing. That's what you want. So
absolutely. A few seconds left. Will any of them have time for another one?
Well, you never know.
George's back in. Kieran's on his way out. Brad's on his way out. George's got one.
George's got one.
Only a pecker, as Wakeling would call it, though, that one.
It's a pecker, but that could make all the difference.
It could. Final few seconds now, and we'll find out who's going to be facing Rob Swan in the next round. And God knows where that'll be.
All out!
All out! That's it.
Well done, lads.
Brilliant. So let's get round and see what the scores on the doors are. That is very, very close. This is very close. Wow. What are you saying, Andy? Oh, £32 dead. Is that it? Locked? Kieran Marsden.
Machined it, boys.
Well done, sir.
Cheers, mate.
Impressive.
Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Specimen hunting.
Awesome. Well done, pal.
Right then, Kieran, you've won it.
I have, yeah.
You've just pipped it, haven't you?
I have, yeah, by £1 or something like that. Jordan's had £32, I've had 33, 4,
Yeah.
and Brad's had 29, so it's been really, really close. But you know what? I've really enjoyed today. For a 4-hour match on silvers, it's been unbelievable fishing, and you'll see in the video the quality of fish. They've been immaculate, haven't they?
Yeah, there's some, them hiders especially are absolutely stunners, aren't they? Like
Yeah.
big fish. You've had, a mixture of fish though as well. You've had chub, you've had tench,
Yeah.
you've had some nice roach and rod.
Yeah, I've even had a few F1s that I've had for putback because
Yeah.
they obviously don't count. So I've had a bit of everything really. Obviously, I told you my plan of my match was maggot short with ground bait and long line with maggots and ground bait, and then a pellet line out the way. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like that's been key today, pellets. It's obviously caught, I've not had as many fish as Brad and Jordan, but I've had better stamp fish on pellets, just waiting a little bit longer. I've had some good skimmers, a tench on it, a really good, nice tench. So I think that's definitely been the game changer. Do you think I should show them the rig, what I've caught on today?
Show them the pellet rig, mate.
Just that rig, my
That's
best
been,
rig.
like you say, that's been the difference, and them slightly bigger fish has
Yeah.
got you over the line.
Yeah, definitely. Now I fished orange slick on all my lines. I think that's really good, nice and soft. Just for, I thought, well, I put it in a long kit as well because with them hard you can it's too tight of elastic, you can ping out a few fish. So I've fished orange slick, a little matrix pot on, just tapping a few micros out, and then with an expander on, just lay your rig in, just be patient. 4x12's dink.
Yeah, that's the one with a solid tip.
It
as
is,
well,
yeah, it's got a solid tip. I like fishing them for silvers because dead sensitive. You can,
Yeah.
and I said to you today, them bites that I've had today, they've been really shy bites. Like I've had docked my float right down to a pimple. It's like hardly going under, and there's one on. Bit of a longer lash from your float tip to your connector with a 2 number 8 back shots. I like doing that for all my fishing, just like fishing with back shots. A little trimmer under my float just to trim it down, like I said, because you needed a pimple showing. And then just shotted with 7 number 9s strung out there. 7 number 9s strung out through me. It is 7 number 9s that these take, don't they? Yeah, it is, yes.
Yeah.
7 number 9s, yeah. A couple of trimmers there. Little short 4-inch up length, because I think when you're fishing with pellets, you want a shorter up length, so that when they pick that first shot up, you see your indication straight away.
As quick as possible.
Little 16s prototype hook by Matrix, just for pellets. I like fishing a bigger hook with pellets, just so you house the pellet, and then when you're striking through it, you hook into the fish. But that's been the rig. It's been deadly, to be honest with you. And do you know what? We was umming and ahhing about putting it in this morning. I was like, do it, because my plan when I first come down was just to fish ground bait and maggots. I thought that would work, but it's a good job I put it in, because that has been the rig to catch most of my fish on.
Just looked good for it, didn't it, with that coloured water, just to have a couple of fish on pellets. And I thought, I seen a blog really from when we were looking through trying to get a bit of info from the lake from Ryan Bennett, and he'd caught a good weight of skimmers on pellets. So we just said, thought it was worth a go, didn't we?
I think with the colour with the colour of the lake as well, that's probably made our minds up with pellets, because obviously they've got a lot more smelling pellets than maggots have, so they attract them fish into your peg. So yeah, it was the be all and end all of me going through today to the next round.
Yeah, I'm saying so. I think that's been a good decision made.
Definitely.
You've made the right decision, and it's got you through to face young Rob Swan in the next round.
Is that who we've got next year, Robert?
And I think he's not decided who's going to have the home leg or not yet. So
are we tossing for that? Yeah.
We're tossing for that. So obviously that's going to make a big difference now, who gets the home leg, and that'll be another really good tie, to be fair. So that's one to look forward to. That'll be a lot later in the year then, I imagine, where it's nice and warm.
So a lot more fish caught then, a lot more feeding fish. So maybe probably end up on like an F1 venue or something like that. But you know what Rob's like, if he gets the home dry, he'll probably set me up to Scotland or somewhere like that out of the way. But
we'll be fishing on the Lake District, won't you, against him?
Yeah, what's it called, that fishery that he used to go? Broome, that's the one.
Broome,
yeah, he might take me there. I've never been there before. But do you know what? Like, I said this to you, I said, I've come to a lake on a venue that I'm unsure about, but I like that because you can fish your own match, and you're not going off
the
what people
ideas about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so like I've gone blind, but I've just literally stuck to my guns, fished how I fish, and it's got me through.
Well done, mate.
Cheers,
you
mate.
kept us in with the chance of the 500 quid split, so I'm buzzing with that, and I know he's fished a good match, so I'm proud of him today. He's had a good match.
Cheers, mate.